I almost broke the chair.
Oh man.
Yeah, that looks like a decent shot.
Yeah. That's a pretty good shot, yeah.
We did that despite ourselves. So we're going live. Let me turn this off. Boom.
All right.
So now I can watch the comments. If there are any comments on a Saturday at
Yeah, we got some
4:17.
watching already. You didn't even send out a notification for this. Hey, we're doing this. So.
No. Um, what am I going to smoke now? Oh, you know what? I'm going to smoke this Savinelli Series 3 129. This might be the third video in a row I've smoked this pipe. Um, and I'm going to smoke this flake of Peterson's, formerly Dunhill's flake. Who do we got with us? Portsmouth Piper, Timothy Doherty. Happy Saturday to you. So, you guys may be wondering who this guy is. This is my buddy Jason. Jason, do you go by your last name on the YouTube? Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
actually, it's just Jason Stallworth on my channel.
Jason
Yeah.
Stallworth. So, we have been friends since the summer after high school.
Forever.
Friends forever.
Like somebody. Yeah.
But he lives in Tampa now. You've been here, what, about 15 years now?
Yeah, Ed and I grew up we're both Pensacola natives, man, and I moved to Tampa in 2000. We actually live, my wife and I live in the town called Seffner, which you guys can tell by my shirt. I'm a metal guy, and that's where the band Obituary is actually from, Seffner. So I feel honored to live here. But this used to be the metal capital of the world many years ago, and I am trying to bring that back, me and several others. So
So technically, we're not chilling in Tampa.
yeah.
A little bit of a white lie in my title there, but we're very close to Tampa. Seffner would be considered a suburb.
Yeah, like people often say Tampa when they think of Seffner, because it's the Tampa area, because nobody really knows where Seffner or Brandon or
Right.
some other. It's like whatever city you guys live in. If you live on the outskirts, you sometimes just say the major city is where I live. Because that's people can relate to that. So yeah, you can say Tampa, the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah. So like I live in Cantonment, Florida,
Yeah.
but I tell everyone I live in Pensacola, Florida.
Right. I did the same thing because I grew up in Cantonment, Molino, which you guys probably never heard of before. But
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I'm from Pensacola. You know.
So visual aid. Maybe I can find this again. I'm smoking some Peterson Flake, and you can see I hand wrote new on there, 2019. Uh, because I was. Oh,
Uh,
where's my mic? There we go.
yeah.
My mic is like pointing down.
Oh,
Let's point it up.
hopefully that sounds a little bit better, guys.
Maybe.
Yeah.
How's that sound, you guys? Let me know if you can hear us or not. What was I saying? So I was comparing the old Peterson Flake made by Dunhill, which wasn't made by Dunhill. I believe it was made by Scandinavian Tobacco Group back then.
Scandinavian?
Yes. Still made by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Oh, thanks very much. Sound is very good.
Awesome.
Moncloud Gansdam says, got those spring birds migrating through the area yet?
You know, my wife, we're at my house right now, my patio, and my wife and I put out bird feeders. We're actually bird fans. But yeah, we put out some bird feeders. So we see several types of birds. Right now, as far as birds go, we see a lot of blue jays in our feeders, and then we have, both male and female cardinals. Now, the birds you're talking about, I think we get titmouses too. We get those birds, but yeah, I've never know. I don't know who came up with the name titmouse, for that bird, but whatever. Maybe they were high. Anyway, so I think the birds you might be talking about is these little tiny little. I don't know if they're finches, but they're super tiny. We have not gotten those yet, but those should be coming in the next few weeks. So hopefully that helps.
Tufted Eddie. What does that mean? Talking about the hair.
Hey, if I could grow it, I would.
Warblers. Does that sound right?
Well,
Warblers.
yeah, well, so that yeah, actually that does, and I think I think I know the types of birds he's talking about there. Yeah.
You remember when we were kids? I had like a plastic whistle. You would get them at parties and stuff. It was shaped like a bird,
Yeah.
and it looked like a pipe, actually. But you would put water in it, and then you would kind of blow in it, and it would make bird sounds. Do you remember that at all?
Oh, I
It would be like,
vaguely remember that.
you know,
Memory sucks
sounded kind
after
of like a
40,
bird.
but yeah, no, I vaguely remember that.
That's kind of funny. So yeah, I used to play with those a lot. I thought those were super cool,
Yeah.
but they were a lot like pipes.
While you're smoking that, I'll pour your beer for you if you want.
Do that. So we just posted a metal and beer video, or actually, it's not posted yet,
No, it'll be posted probably on Monday.
on Jason's channel. Now, Jason goes under the pseudonym Jason Stallworth.
My name, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a pseudonym.
No, just Jason Stallworth, yeah.
But so he has a channel about metal music because he writes this weird, funky metal music that scares children and old ladies.
That devil music.
But you guys know I'm into metal, and I talk about Dokken quite a bit. But yeah, Jason plays a varied style of metal. But he's been a fantastic guitar player for years and years and years. I keep looking down at my laptop when the camera's actually up here,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to watch the video feed.
I do the same thing for my videos. I do a lot of live videos as well. And yeah, I'll set my laptop up to read the comments because I can't read them on the phone. But
So, Earl of Pipes, good afternoon. Yeah, so old Hollywood Briar remembers the old bird whistle things.
Yeah.
Hollywood Briar's in the house. He's kind of quickly becoming. I mean, I feel like he's royalty in the YTPC.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Don't let it go to your head. Don't let it go to your
Yeah.
head. But Jason, while I'm relighting my pipe,
Yeah.
why don't you talk a little bit about your YouTube channel and your music? What's your take on it?
Yeah, just
Like,
briefly,
what
guys.
makes you different? Why should I listen to you? Metallica's out there.
Well, so the thing is, like,
I mean,
I know
Metallica rules.
Metallica does rule. Metallica is why I started playing guitar back in 1990, like eons ago. Now I know probably not every person on your channel was metal, so I won't touch on this too long, guys. But no, I've been playing guitar since 1990, and I just released my fourth studio album called Masterpiece. One word. Piece is spelled Peace. That was back in September last year, and this specific album's more like a melodic metal album with some hints of death metal. I do different vocal styles in there, but so it's kind of like a mix of old school death metal and classic thrash metal, kind of mixed into one, but very melodic. It's not like the death metal that you can't understand. Um, but yeah, that kind of, some of my fans describe the album, my latest album, as like Megadeth meets Amon Amarth, something like that. So that's kind of what it is, in a nutshell there. But yeah, what makes it different actually is funny and I'm not talking myself up, that's not me, but I've had a lot of my listeners, I don't like to say fans, it just sounds weird, but a lot of the people that support my music have stated that this is the album that doesn't sound like every other metal album out there. So that's kind of, I guess that's what differentiates me. I'm not really stuck in one specific subgenre of metal, but I integrate many styles into one, kind of trying to bring the best of several styles. And I'm not a trendy person, so I don't want my music to be like every other new metal album that's out there right now. Because we talked about this. A lot of music in general these days, you listen to the CD, or well, people don't listen to CDs anymore, but you listen to the album, it's like, I'm on track 5, but that sounds just like track 3 and 2,
Yeah.
So that's the risk that a lot of bands run into these days.
Well, I think you're doing good at differentiating yourself and not pigeonholing yourself into one particular style. So
That's
kudos to you, bud.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, dude.
And I cannot recommend enough his latest album, Masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
When I get back home, it's going to be a couple of days. I'll put your link to
Thanks,
your
dude. Yeah,
channel
that'd be awesome.
on this. But So we've got some comments I need to go through. Because, I mean, give a man a mic.
Well, you know. Sorry. I'm
So
a talker, guys.
let's see. I got a lot of comments from Hollywood Briar,
Nice.
and he says a samurai never pours his own. So
Oh,
you are doing my bidding by pouring my beer for me.
well, this is your channel, and I proudly support it. You know, and like the video we just did for my channel, which that'll be done by Monday. You know, of course, I'll have your links in that video as well, because Ed and I, we like I said, we've been really close, man, like brothers. And the older you get, not that we're old, although we are, the older you get in life, your old friends that you've been, with all these years, all this time, become even like 1,000 times more important, almost like everyday passing. So
Really does.
I love the fact that you're here. You always come down, try to come down at least once a year for a show, for a concert or something like that. Kind of gives him an excuse to, to get here, and it just works out really well. We both have extremely cool wives, I must say, because they don't give us any crap at all about spending time together. So it's cool. Glad you're here, dude.
So thank you. Hollywood Briar also says, Eddie, I always think of you as the Prince of Pipes. The Prince of Pipes.
The Prince of Pipes.
I'll take it because Prince means younger than king. But that kind of reminds me of Young Guns 2. You remember Young Guns 2?
Young Guns 2, dude, yes.
I can't remember who played the little kid that was hiding out and like he wanted to see Billy the Kid, but he
Yeah.
was hiding because he was just some orphan punk
Yeah.
kid. And then Billy brought him in front of him. And he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I know who you are. You're Billy the Kid. You're the Prince of Piss. Pistoliers."
You are the Prince of Pipes, dude. I am so like I admire you so much, dude, for doing what you do in the pipe community. Because and I must say, man, I keep in I don't smoke pipes myself, and I'll start one day because this smells really good right now. But I'm on Eddie's channel sometimes, just watching his live videos, and I can say, dude, your subscriber base, all of you guys are just an awesome group of people, man. So this
Yeah.
is like a really cool community.
Yeah, and that's definitely not me. That's just the community at
Yeah.
large. So
Awesome people. I mean, it's like the metal community as well. It's like we're all kind of like one big family here. You got some awesome people.
Hollywood Briar also says Metallica rules. So
Yes.
we're gonna raise one to that.
Oh, we'll raise one to that. Sorry about the train noise in the background. This is an organic video, right?
The YouTube pipe community puts up with all manner of trains and lawnmowers and leaf blowers and all, big rigs and all kinds of stuff in the background.
The train reminds me of Bubbles and Trailer Park Boys. You guys watch Trailer Park Boys? I'm sure you've seen it before. But the guy with the big glasses, Bubbles.
Guys, you hear that train?
Yeah, he goes to the train convention and meets Sebastian Bach there. That was hilarious too.
Hollywood Briar, you did not used to be a lead guitar player in a death metal band.
Dude.
I refuse to believe that.
You serious, dude?
Like, pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah, pics.
And you have a way to contact me with pictures. So
No, you're on Instagram. Could he post pics on his Instagram and then tag you?
he could, but he probably won't.
Hey, tag me on there too. I'd love to see that, man. But,
Let's see. Alien Ant Farm. Have you ever listened to Alien Ant Farm? I haven't.
So they did a cover song. They did a Michael Jackson cover, and that's really the only song I remember from them. This is gonna make me sound super old, like an old man, but I'm very much into the classic metal. Like there's an era like from mid '90s to like almost now for American metal that just kind of, I don't know, just fell off my radar completely. And like the only American bands I listen to these days, it's just me. I mean, to each their own, of course. But I just mainly stick to a lot of the classic thrash metal bands, some of the death metal bands that's been around for a while. A lot of the new stuff I don't really get into unless it's from those bands. And now my other base is the European metal bands, like Amon Amarth, Arch Enemy, Insuferium, bands like that. Of course, Creator's old school, the German metal band. We like Delane a lot, those types of bands. So there's that whole new metal, and I don't know, I don't even know the names of the bands that I'm describing. But
So
anyway,
we have 19 people watching right now, and 15 of them just went, uh huh, uh huh,
okay.
uh
Yeah.
huh. Yeah, we get it. Not everybody's
We
into
get
the
it.
metal.
We get it.
But Hollywood Briar again says, oh, well, Boca de Boynton says, Eddie, you're no prince.
Whoa.
Sad face. You're a 320, which is true. That's a shape. It's a pipe shape.
Oh, okay.
It's my favorite pipe shape.
Okay.
Although, sneak peek to you guys, I found a pipe shape. I haven't even smoked it yet, but I found a pipe shape that I might already like better than the 320. We're going to let you just ponder that for a while. When I get home, I'll do a first light on this pipe, but as soon as I put it in my mouth and just clench that stem, I was like, I took it out, I started laughing, and I was like, perfect. So you guys can have your own wagers as to what that pipe shape is. And it's not a Savinelli pipe.
Mm. So I hear you talk about Seminelli pipes a lot, and that's like, it seems like to be one of the most popular style of pipes.
So this is a Savinelli pipe. This is the most affordable Savinelli pipe,
Ah, gotcha.
the Series 3 pipes. But they have a good bit of semi-affordable pipes. Like, I wouldn't call them budget or cheap pipes by any means. They're high-quality smoking tools, but they go up into the $400, $500 range.
I have a dumb question as someone that doesn't have a lot of knowledge in pipes. Is there a substantial difference in like a budget pipe per se, as opposed to like a $500 pipe, $400 pipe that you're talking about? Like so I assume there's a substantial difference, but what would those differences be?
There is, but again, sometimes you can get an expensive pipe that doesn't smoke well for you,
Mm.
and sometimes you can get an inexpensive pipe that smokes exceedingly well, like above its weight class.
Okay.
So it really just depends on the individual pipe, but Savinelli has a track record of just consistently well-engineered pipes. So when you talk about the contributing factors to a pipe's price, you're talking about fit and finish. How pretty is the pipe? How nice is the briar?
Okay.
How pretty is the grain? What's the finish like? Are there any fancy bands or any other ornamentations that would increase the value?
Okay.
Is it a limited edition? What's the drill? And then you get into like manufacturing
Okay.
stuff. Like, what's the drilling like? Is the drilling spot on, or is it off center?
Ah, okay.
Are there fills in the briar? Like, this is a second pipe. This is the Series 3. Like I said, it's one of the least expensive
Okay.
in the Savinelli line, but you can see right there,
Yeah.
it's a little bump that they kind of filled in. It was a
Okay.
void in the wood. There's another one.
Okay.
But it's still a well-smoking pipe. But then you see on the stem there's some pretty nice grain there.
That is nice. Yeah.
So this was intended initially to be a more expensive pipe, and then they found these little issues in the wood, and they were like, we'll make it a Series 3 pipe and sell it cheaper.
Now I've never asked you this question before, I don't think anyway. How long would a pipe last? Do pipes ever go bad?
Well, that's kind of a unique thing about pipe smoking. Like, when you get into a hobby like, I don't know, poster collecting,
Yeah.
or even vinyl collecting or CD collecting, there's something called CD rot, supposedly, where CDs can go bad over time. If you drop a pipe and it breaks, well, it's broke. You can get it repaired.
Yeah.
You can abuse a pipe to the point where Actually, I don't know if you can abuse a pipe to the point where it can't be repaired or restored.
Yeah.
You guys let me know in the comments um, if you what you think about that. But pipes can outlive you, and often do outlive you, and they get
Oh.
passed down to your children or your grandchildren, and then they get passed down to their children or grandchildren,
Hmm.
and they're kind of like artifacts that can stay around longer than you and kind of carry you as part of their legacy. It's
That's
like
pretty cool.
you are the caretaker of this thing
Yeah.
for a while, and then it moves on.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of interesting.
That's very. I didn't know that. I know we like. This is a truly organic video because I'm not educated in pipes. You know, I used to smoke cigars from time to time. You and I used to do that. But no, it's just interesting stuff to know.
So I'm lighting my pipe for like the 10th time.
It was a little windy out here earlier.
It's windy and I'm talky, and I didn't dry out this Blake.
No,
Bad Eddie.
bad Eddie.
Oh, so we have some comments. Hollywood Briar says, opened up for POD and started a mosh pit while I
Oh
was
wow.
playing. Had a wireless rig.
They had that one hit song, "Feel So Alive, I Feel So Alive." POD. That was a cool tune.
I
That's
remember
awesome.
when they first came out and they had, I think this was their independent release. It was called Snuff the Punk. You remember that?
I vaguely remember that. But I remember that one song, and I really dug it. So anytime it would come on the radio, I'm like, okay, I'm listening. Well, that's awesome that you opened up for your band. Opened up for that band. They're huge, man. So that was a really good stage experience. I bet.
Josh Scott, welcome, like 5-10 minutes ago.
Nice. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Danner81 says, I have a hard time with newer metal because it sounds the same. We'll check out Masterpiece though.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just look up Jason Stallworth on YouTube or jasonstallworth.com.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can Google my name. Fortunately, there's not many people named Jason Stallworth, so it's not like John Smith or something, where it's like, oh crap, where's this guy at? So, if you look up Jason Stallworth and type in music on Google, all my stuff will come up, and you'll probably see my YouTube channel. But the YouTube channel is just Jason Stallworth. Yes.
Winchester says, sitting here in my garage in Philadelphia,
Oh, it's cold in Philly, I bet, dude.
where it's a little cold, smoking Carter Hall in one of your unfinished Savinellis.
Nice.
Nice.
Philly's a cool place. My wife has family in Wyalusing, Pennsylvania, so you may know where that is. That's up in the mountains, kind of. But we usually fly into Philly and rent a car from there and drive there. And yeah, Philly's a real cool place.
Douglas Gorman is enjoying a nice Arkansas day
Arkansas,
with a Rossi 320 and some Velvet.
nice, dude.
Seems like it's old codger day. Codger blends, like,
I don't know what Conjure Blend
I
is.
know, I have to explain all these things.
This is good though. Yeah.
Codger blends are like the old-timey blends that were sold in drugstores for years and years.
Oh,
So,
I
like,
that
when
concept.
we were kids, if we went into the drugstore,
Yeah.
they would sell Carter Hall, Sir Walter Raleigh, Half and Half. You would probably recognize the art because you would have seen it behind the counters.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Guys, Kinjiro5775 says, my problem with music today has to do with the loudness war. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Turn down the volume on any new song and you will hear continuous sound. Compression has ruined music. There's a lot to that. There's a lot to be said to that.
It's a great point, though. He's so right about that.
And to an extent, I feel like maybe you have to contend with that yourself just to keep up with what else is out there.
To an extent, the guy that mastered my album, which you met him at the last night was show that we went to. You've got to have it to a certain standard because you don't want to be listening to the majority of songs that's at that standard. Then all of a sudden they listen to your song and it drops. So, but I didn't want him to push the loudness. But you make a very good point though, and that's an issue. You know, over processing and loudness. It's overdone.
Kenjiro also says most of my pipes came from me pops,
Oh, cool.
who
What you were talking about earlier?
we lost over 20 years ago.
Wow.
So
That's awesome,
here's a
dude.
pipe for your pops.
Yeah.
I lost my great grandfather, who was kind of the impetus for me smoking a pipe, probably about 15 years ago.
Mm.
I'm not really sure at this point. Time goes on, and it's hard for me to keep up with what happened when it comes to people getting married, people dying, people friends having kids, people moving away, coming back. When did I meet this person?
Oh yeah.
Has this person met that person? It just gets to be too much to keep up with over time.
You and your grandfather were pretty close, so I remember you talking about that and him smoking the pipe, and that was, you know, like you just said, that was kind of, you know, your launching pad to do what you do, and here
Yeah.
you are, man.
I would go over and hang out with my great grandfather back when he was still living on his own in his little apartment,
Wow.
and um, he would smoke his pipe, and I'd try to smoke a pipe. Usually, I'd bring a cigar over back then. But he was in his 90s, and he loved watching The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. That
Oh,
was one
that's
of his.
cool, man.
He loved The Cosby Show, and he loved The Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was born and raised in the South.
Hmm.
Um, born in 1905,
Dude,
if you can imagine.
that's crazy. It's a
He
long time.
had some racist tendencies. I'm not going to sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
He was an
different times.
old school Southerner, but he loved The Cosby Show, and he loved The Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
And he didn't really understand television, which is weird, because like if in the 90s he was in his 60s, let's say, ballpark, then in the 60s he was in his what?
Oh, jeez, dude. I suck at this kind of stuff, but you know,
30s? No,
maybe yeah.
that's not right.
Um,
If the 90s he was in his 60s, then
I suck at math,
the
dude.
60s he was in his 60s.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Yeah.
No.
It was 30 years,
That's
90s.
not right.
Wait a minute. No, no, you're not. Oh, jeez. You're better at this kind of stuff. Way better than I am.
If
so
if in the no, in the 90s he was in his 90s.
okay, 90s.
People are tuning
90s.
out like crazy, I'm sure. In the 90s, I think he was in his 90s. So in
Yeah.
the 60s, he was around his 60s. And television was a huge thing in the 60s.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a big thing.
But it didn't seem like he understood what television was in the 90s. Like, he would ask me about, we would watch Will Smith on The Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
And he would say, do you think Uncle Phil is his real uncle? I'm like, no, he's
dude.
an actor.
Yeah.
You see, they're acting. They're not really related.
Yeah, it's not real.
He didn't really understand that. I thought that was funny. He kept his TV remotes in a drawer because he was afraid the lasers would like set things on fire.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just looking at the metal horn. Sorry, on your comments there.
Okay, so lots of stuff to get to. Boca de Boynton says, Eddie, I was converting a few salves to 9mm and I killed my Roma Lucite 677. I was going to use the matches pipe. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I was going to use the matches pipe as a great giveaway, but now I don't know. I need a new Roma Lucite. That sucks, dude. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. So I guess you just drilled through the tenon a little too much. I wonder if you could unglue that, like heat up and unglue that tenon piece. Or did you actually damage the stem? But the tenon piece could probably be replaced. Let's see. Pipes and Bees has some pipes that are 70 and 80 years old that he restored. Hollywood Briar says Snuff the Punk was the shiz. Yeah, So Alive was kind of a fluke. That was kind of it's weird how bands you know, I understand people want to be popular, people want to get found, but So Alive just kind of became their big hit
Yeah.
and what they were known for when that's not really what the band was super about.
No, it wasn't. No.
Um,
I think it had the right chord progression. You know, we watched Eddie and I watched a video the other night, a comedy video where there's four chords that make up pretty much every hit song, and these guys, I don't remember their names, but they played like 20 songs with this same chord progression just to prove the point.
yeah, I'm going to be listening out for that chord progression
Oh yeah.
when I listen to music from now on. How did we find that video? Did we look up every hit song ever or something like that?
Yeah, I think there's something to do with four chords for every hit song or something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that. You guys should look
That
that
was
up.
funny. It was hilarious.
Um, let's see. NJ Piper just flew out of Tampa this morning,
Oh, cool, man.
back in New Jersey, at a crisp 33 degrees.
That's cold, dude. I hope you enjoyed Tampa. And I think our Tampa airport is awesome, and that's not just because I live here, you know, but it's just one of the really cool airports of the country, you know.
Kenjiro says, I love that covered porch. It seems to be common in Florida.
You gotta have it almost, man. Like you know, we've got a screen here and everything because the mosquitoes are bad in Florida. So you've definitely, you know, we've definitely had to have a screen.
Let's see. What else we got? East Texas. Danner 81's in East Texas smoking East India Trading Company Cellar Reserve in an old Graybo.
That just sounds cool, man.
Oh gosh, they're coming in. See, this is the weird part. This is the part that I have trouble with for live streams.
Yeah,
For me, it's so much easier to make a canned video because I know what I want to talk about. I talk about it,
when you're done.
and it's done. But when you get people live asking questions,
Yeah.
commenting, it can seem overwhelming, and I always feel like I'm missing somebody's comment, and I get really, I get a complex about it
Yeah, I don't think
because
it,
I
you know.
I don't want to miss anybody's comment.
No, I know. I kind of struggle with that as well, you know, when I do live videos. But I love this atmosphere. Like I said before in the beginning of the video, and some of you guys heard this already. Dude, I love your community, like the pipe community. I mean, like everybody in this community is just awesome, you know.
Oh, old Hollywood Briar says rocking Dragon's Flame right now by Jason
Oh,
Stallworth.
dude, thank you for the support. I appreciate that, man.
Reminds me of a mix between speed metal and death metal, like Megadeth meets Death.
Yeah. Oh, old school death, man.
The axis of awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Really do, man.
We were actually, Kenjiro asked about if we ever watched Rick Beato, and we were talking about that just yesterday.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, he's a very interesting channel he has, man. He's got some really cool videos out there.
While I try to light this pipe, why don't you talk about that video we were talking about yesterday about this copyright strikes?
Oh yeah, so and you guys, you know, being on YouTube and all, you guys may have heard about the copyright strikes. You know, if an artist does a cover song and in some cases even just hints to the melody of a cover song that's owned by a big time label, they will give you a copyright strike. You know, I've had some on my channel. I've had some, you know, gigs where I've played out live. So I've played a couple cover songs like The Outfield or whatever, and a lot of times YouTube won't give me. They've never given me a strike, but they will demonetize. They'll say, hey, we're either demonetizing this video, or you're having to share the revenue with the copyright owner, which I'm perfectly fine with. But Rick Macchio was talking about something a little different. He was showing people how to play a certain chord progression, and this is tied to guitar theory, but that chord progression just happened to be what, one of the Beatles songs, I think, or was it some? Yeah, so they gave him, you know, they tried to get. I don't know if it was a strike or not, but he got a lot of crap from YouTube, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, you know,
Yeah.
just because the band used a progression doesn't really mean it's theirs, you know. So yeah, it was kind of a big deal. It was kind of he was really upset about that.
Let's see. If everyone's watching could give this video a thumbs up, it will help spread it out to everyone.
Dude, please do that. The Prince of Pipes. I do like the Prince of Pipes, dude.
I like that, but I'm definitely not going to become the self-proclaimed Prince of
No, no. I mean, everyone proclaims you as that. I think you know.
Pipes. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Pooh wee says my butt makes noises. I don't know what that. Okay.
His name's Pooh Wee, but Pooh Wee says my butt makes noises. Okay.
That's funny.
Um,
My butt makes noises.
I love butt jokes, dude. Like fart jokes, and I think we both kind of like that.
Sir James, hi and goodbye. Sorry you couldn't stay longer.
Oh, dude. All right.
So the gentleman with Eddie, N.J. Piper. This is my old friend Jason Stallworth.
Old?
Pretty old, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Down in Tampa. I traveled down to Tampa, so we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So I came down to Tampa, where Jason lives, actually Seffner,
Seffner, Tampa Bay area.
because I wanted to see John Waite
Yes.
in concert. John Waite is probably my favorite singer of all time. I've loved him since I was a wee little boy, when he sang Missing You in the early 80s.
Good tune, man.
Probably still his biggest hit. But before that, he sang in a band called The Babies in the 70s and very early 80s. He went solo. He made Missing You and like several other albums. Then he joined the remnants of the band Journey, and Journey formed a new band in the late 80s called Bad English,
Awesome band. I love Bad English, dude.
which was basically, it was Neil Schon, Jonathan Cain,
Yeah.
I think Ross Valerie. So the core of Journey, with a new drummer, Dean Castronovo, who was fresh off the Ozzy tour,
Oh, dude, yeah.
and this new singer, who wasn't a new singer, he was John Waite. So it was basically Journey with John Waite, and a killer drummer. Of course, Journey's never been a slouch with drummers, but Dean is a stellar drummer, especially back then coming off the Ozzy tour. He was just,
You got to be an awesome drummer to
Yeah.
come off an Aussie tour. You know?
but I think Journey wanted to go a different way, have a different sound with a new band name, and John Waite fit the bill for a different kind of vocalist than Steve Perry.
Yeah.
And they made some amazing hits. They had one killer successful album. Second album didn't do quite so well.
Yeah, there was a couple good songs off of it, but that first album just had hits, dude. I don't know that there's any skippers on that album.
Yeah. But then John Waite, for my money, has, from an artistic level, has made better music since then. Since he left Bad English, he's continued to make solo albums into the 90s and into the new millennia. And those are my favorite songs of his. Last night he didn't do any of those songs.
Yeah, you told me that.
He didn't do any songs any newer than Bad English.
Yeah.
He did some cool cover songs. He did a Led Zeppelin song. What else? What other covers did he did? A country song I wasn't familiar with.
It's funny, yeah. Like we're in Florida. This was in Clearwater, Florida. We're in Tampa Bay. Clearwater's kind of over the bridge, but it's he asked the audience like, "Hey, you guys okay if I do a country song?" And then some people were like, "Yeah," but then some were like, "You can just not do that, and we'll be just fine,"
Yeah.
But the song he did not sound country at all, and I think that
Nope, sounded like John Waite.
yeah, exactly, yeah. John Waite's got a phenomenal voice, man, and I'm a fan, but I'm not near biggest fan of John Waite as Eddie is. So I need to go through his backlog a little more and his recent stuff. But dude, he's what, 67?
He's 67 years old.
It's ridiculous because he sounds like his vocals were just pristine and the band was just solid. And now, okay, it was about what, 40, I don't know, between 40 and 50 degrees with the wind chill factor. So it was cold, man, but they were just stellar. I mean, the band was just awesome. John's voice was just amazing. So yeah, it was a really, really good show.
I'm having such trouble keeping this pipe lit.
Oh,
I think it's because I didn't take extra care to pack it.
that's a cool looking pipe there, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's my backup pipe for the trip. I've got
Okay.
an Impero 321 in here.
Still got the pipe you gave me upstairs in my studio.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know what kind it was, but it was a. Uh,
I
I,
think it was a corncob pipe, wasn't
it
it?
was a corn. Yeah, yeah, Eddie gave me a corncob pipe several years ago when he, came down several years ago for another concert, and yeah, it's in my studio upstairs.
Alright, let's see. More comments. Um, how do you thumb up during a live stream?
Oh,
Well, there's I think to the right of the
yeah.
title is the thumbs up. Right now I'm at 17 thumbs up.
Are you watching on? I wonder if you're watching on your phone or laptop or iPad or something like that. Sometimes it's at different spots.
True. Oh, I just blew
No,
smoke all in your face.
it's okay. I like the smell. I love the smell of pipes. I always love the smell of cigars. Never cigarettes or anything like that, but the smell of a cigar and smell of a pipe. There's something just really organic about that, and it smells good. It's like a tasty treat almost.
Mm-mm-mm. Let's see.
You got any beer drinkers on your channel here? Craft beer drinkers?
No, these
No?
guys don't drink beer.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I was just curious. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we have some beer drinkers out there. Um, let's see. So, right now we are drinking some. This is probably my favorite beer. I always put probably
Yeah.
in front of everything. John Wade is my favorite singer, and currently this is my favorite beer.
Yeah.
This is Elysian Space Dust. 8.5%. Very hoppy beer.
Yeah, it is.
Not too bitter.
No, I wouldn't say it's that bitter.
It's a fine line between like that tropical citrusy taste and like the bitter
Yeah.
hoppiness.
It's got a distinct flavor for sure. You know how you guys were talking about metal music, and today's music all sounding the same. Sometimes you can get with IPAs tasting the same, but this has a very distinct flavor to it. And like Eddie says, not overly hoppy, but it does give you that bite. And the 8.5% is, you and I were talking about percentage. Once you get to a certain high percent, say 9-10%,
Hmm.
you start really tasting that alcohol, and it's like, okay, I'm getting away from my beer taste. So this is like really pushing that envelope at 8.5.
Yeah, that's usually my top end right there, but
Yeah.
this has become my favorite. Now, my second favorite, which used to be my favorite, is Lagunitas Maximus, which I haven't been able to find in Pensacola for over a year. And I come to Tampa, and like the first place you're like, I know where we can find it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
You didn't believe me.
And they had it, so I'm taking some Maximus back home with me.
You got two
Probably
6-packs.
have one of those tonight.
We'll need to have one of those next. Yeah. My favorite IPA is actually, if I may, it's called Rome City IPA, and it's by a brewery called Brew Hub, and they're based out of Lakeland, Florida, which is about, I want to say, about 40-minute drive east of me, going towards Orlando. And it's just a solid IPA. I mean, we all have different tastes, but that's kind of my go-to IPA.
Hollywood Briar says, I've met those Journey guys with the new singer,
Dude,
Arnel Pineda.
is that the Filipino guy?
Hmm.
Oh man, awesome.
He says they're actually pretty good. Well, yeah, they're actually pretty good. I mean, yeah. I don't understand. That seems like a backhanded compliment.
No, I think I get where he's coming from. It's like, because you had Steve Perry for all these years, and now you've got somebody else that's got to fill in those shoes, so to speak. So that's
Yeah.
got to be a difficult job.
I get that, yeah. But like I've told you, Neil Sean seems to have gotten better and better and better over the
Yeah.
years. He's one of those guitar players that has never rested on his laurels. He's just gotten better over time. I'm sure there's some point where he's just not going to be able to keep that up, but he might be the best he's ever been right now, and he's probably in his early 60s.
At
10.
what point do you stop not being so great? Like, what age is that? Because you know, in today's world, we're seeing so many people like in their 60s and 70s do awesome things. John Waite, again, 67 years old, up there hitting every note perfectly and just quality tone to his voice. You know, you've got all these guitar players, these bands that are in their 60s and 70s. I mean, hell, Ozzy's still touring.
Mm.
You know, I don't remember how much longer, but he's, you know, Megadeth is another example. Remember back in 2009, we saw them, you know, and granted, he wasn't old at that time, but, you know, you get up there in age.
So Winchester says, I'm old, I'm a Led Zeppelin guy. Well,
Dude,
John Waite did Whole Lot of Love
yes, he
with his
did.
band live, and it was very, very
He did
good.
a phenomenal job in that, man.
Um,
Zeppelin's just another classic band. It's a classic rock band that you really can't replicate that. They're just an original, you know, Zeppelin sounds like Zeppelin, and, you know, nobody sounds like them. You can't replicate
Hollywood. I could try to play Stairway to Heaven on a guitar.
that.
It would not go super well.
Well, that's because the guitar shop say, "Hey, no stairway."
Um, but Hollywood, I could play you some Dylan sometime. I know you're a Dylan fan.
This guy, you guys may not know this, and I'm just gonna press a button right now, dude. I think you should break out the acoustic at some point in a future video, because Eddie is very good vocalist. He's a smooth guitar player as well, very smooth, you know, acoustic player. He played bass in the band we were, and he's, you know, multi instrumentalist, and he's solid, man. So I really think that you should do something musical, just for like one video, just to show people that, you know, you've got that talent, man. You know.
So Pipes and Bees, thank you for that, by the way. Not warranted, but thank you. Pipes and Bees says, let's see the kit you packed for your trip.
Oh,
Always interested on how pipe smokers pack and travel their play.
it's a good question, dude. Yeah.
Well, I kind of packed my pipes the way I did all my packing. I threw whatever I could think of in a couple of bags on my way out the door the morning of. But, and I didn't even know if I was going to get to smoke on the trip because I mean, we have so little time, and Jason's not really a pipe smoker. We want to get some stuff done.
Yeah, yeah.
We wanted to talk business because Jason has a business, I have a business, and we're pretty new to the whole entrepreneurial thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're trying to figure all this out on our own and trying to help each other out along the way.
Yeah.
But I can show you what I packed. So let me set the pipe down. It will go out again. I brought two pipes. I brought the Savinelli
Yeah.
129.
Your backup, I just saw.
I brought the Impero 321. And I packed those two pipes and two pipes only for a 4-day trip in this Rattray's zippered case. Got the insignia there. In the case, you've got this little pouch here. Oh,
Cool.
I've got maybe 20 pipe cleaners. I've got about 10 9 millimeter filters, and that's it. Well, no, I also packed a pipe nail. Pipe nails are dirt cheap. Best value for your money for a pipe tool. So I packed one of those. I packed my skinniest Karibi Kenchi lighter, very tiny little lighter that has been climbing the charts. This might be my favorite Karibi lighter at this point. I just really like how compact it is, how long it lasts despite that, and it just is just as good to me as any other Karibi lighter.
It's a cool looking lighter, dude.
Yeah, this is the brushed, fingerprinted brushed
Yeah, fingerprinted, yeah.
black.
That's really cool. Convenient, man.
I also have, which I don't know that I could show this very well, but I have a tobacco mat. It's just a piece of leather cut into a square, and if I tilt it to show you,
Yeah, it's gonna come out.
It's yeah, my tobacco pieces are gonna go everywhere, and I actually just dumped my ashes on it. But that is from Lowborn Supply that I bought like 5, 6 years ago. I don't even know if they still make tobacco mats or not, but you can find tobacco mats at various places. Etsy shops. Just look up tobacco. Do a search on Etsy for tobacco mat. I know Kraken Pipe Leather used to make some really killer looking tobacco mats. But I use a tobacco mat every single day, even when I'm at home in the West Parlor. I'm using this tobacco mat.
West Parlor.
Yeah.
How did you How did you come up on that name? I'm curious. I don't think you and I have ever talked about this, but I always hear you on your channel. Well, Eddie Gray at the West Parlor.
Well, I wanted to sound fancy,
It indeed sounds fancy.
um, and I wanted to uh, not lie to people.
Okay.
So a parlor is a place where you can acquiesce. Is that a word? Acquiesce?
I suck at words and math. You know this.
It's a place where you can rest and,
Just chill.
okay, chill. You can chill in a parlor. It's an old school word,
Yeah.
like from the turn of the century. But, I wanted to make it sound like it had multiple parlors. So the west parlor is
So
my
you got
my garage is the westernmost part
so
of
you've
my
got like an
house.
east parlor and a north parlor and like a
Yeah. So
southwest.
I have a west parlor where I film most of my videos. I also have a south veranda, which is my covered back porch. Um,
Okay.
that I rarely, but I have made
I
videos
haven't
of.
seen you out there. Yeah, maybe I just missed those videos, but
I know I made one video out there called "Smoking Straight Perique." If you guys want to see what a man looks like and how green I get by smoking straight perique, you can
okay.
look that up.
Yeah.
But I made some other ones out there.
I love your background though in your videos, dude. In the West Parlor, you've just got such a cool background. You've always got some cool poster in the background, and that's just it's a really like homey, like I'm sitting down hanging out with Eddie smoking a pipe type background.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you see when you come to the West Parlor.
That's great. I love it. I love it, dude.
But yeah, I tried to swap out the posters and stuff, not just for YouTube, but to keep me.
Hmm.
I just like to swap out posters like that.
We go through phases too.
Yeah.
1 month your favorite band is John Waite and your favorite artist, and next month it might be Delane you're listening to, or Amon Amarth, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So where are we at here? How long have we been going? 52 minutes?
This is why I love live videos, man, and I'm honored to be a part of this with all you guys. All you guys on Ed's channel are just extremely cool, man. So I'm really happy and honored to be hanging out here with you, man.
So Old Hollywood Briar asked sometime in the past,
Yeah.
what's your favorite John Waite song? Well,
Mm.
it's kind of weird. Once you pick a favorite anything,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this yesterday. You kind of feel like you have to continue that, even if it's not even true anymore. You kind of have to continue that myth of this is my favorite thing. Like if you've said for years Transformers is my favorite cartoon from the
Right.
80s, you might change your mind about that, but somewhere in the back of your mind you're like, nope, Transformers is my favorite cartoon from the 80s. Uh, John Waite's Missing You is his biggest hit.
Yeah.
It's probably the one he's the most sick of singing, as with most, big hits from artists.
Gotta
But
do the song again. Gosh.
I still love it to this day. I loved when he redid it with Alison Krauss
Mm.
a few years back.
Mm.
But I still love the original version. I love hearing him do it live, whether it's electric or
It
acoustic.
was awesome last night. Really good.
That was the first time I got to see him live, but I've watched YouTube videos
Yeah.
of him live, and I still love that song. But there's a part two to that song, or at least I feel like it's a part two to that song. My favorite John Waite album came out, I think, in 2013, and it was called Rough and Tumble. And he had a song called If You Ever Get Lonely. So I Ain't Missing You was about a split and a guy trying to tell himself he didn't care
Right.
about the split. Well, If You Ever Get Lonely is about kind of like that Journey song, Separate Ways.
Separate Ways, yeah. Good tune
It,
by Journey, dude.
yeah.
Great tune.
But it's kind of like that. It's like, okay, well, yeah, we split, but I still love you,
Hmm.
and I would still love to talk to you. So if you ever get lonely, call me up. You know, it's that kind of song. So it's kind of like a bookend to Missing You after like 30 years.
Yeah.
Um, but I really love that song too. So that's probably my second favorite song from John Waite. Um, I think we're going to wrap up here pretty soon because I can't keep this pipe lit and talk this much.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're behind on your beer.
I
This is
am.
our comparison here. Eddie's beer, my beer.
well, when we did your video, I was pretty ahead.
You were ahead of me, yeah. Which we
Uh,
might do that next if, we'll see.
Yeah. It's actually not warm over here, Stolen Vinyl.
No, dude.
What would you? It's probably 62.
What a cool name, Stolen Vinyl. I love that, dude. That's awesome. Uh,
Let's see. Just
Yeah.
wanted to mention, I hope you didn't take to heart the vid that idiot Northern Bohemian made about you.
what
What?
was
I'm
this,
gonna
dude?
have to look that up.
Somebody made a video about Eddie, really?
Okay, well, I'm friends with John. I've met John and hung out with him in person. John from Northern Bohemian.
Okay.
I haven't seen this video, but I'm gonna look it up. His timing is impeccably terrible
Oh.
for the videos that he puts out. I don't know if that's intentional or what, but I'll look that up, and I'll try not to get offended. um, let's see what else we got. Some people's, I'll say, some people's humor just doesn't come over in YouTube videos.
Mm.
Sometimes it's like foot and mouth disease.
Yeah.
And people just don't know how to take certain types of humor. So, I'm going to give John the benefit of the doubt, no matter what it is. All right, so yeah. Oh, AT, we're just getting off, man.
AT.
AT Valou.
We got more people watching now than we did before, dude.
We do, actually. Typically have about 40 to 50 people watching, sometimes 60 or...
Oh, wow, dude. Wow.
But it's so hard to keep up with comments that
It's
way.
hard, yeah, it's hard.
So I kind of like this, like being at around the 20 mark.
This is
It's
good work.
a little bit easier. If I kept you out of the video, if I knocked you in the pool, I could really keep up with comments. But, all right.
All
Douglas, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Thank you, dude.
So, yeah. I think, AT says he just got his pre-order in.
Nice, dude.
Just so you guys know, the pre-orders do end at midnight tomorrow.
Mm.
I'm not going to be up at midnight tomorrow, and I don't have it set to turn off, so sometime on the 2nd of March, I'm going to turn off pre-orders, and then I'll be able to determine how many pipes over and above the pre-orders I'll be able to order for the Matches tribute pipe. We didn't even talk about that in this video.
Dude.
Until now. So that's kind of a good thing because I don't like being a talking head about the same thing
I understand that, yeah.
over and
I
over
understand
again,
Yeah.
But it is something important for the community, and I'm glad we're able to make it happen. All right, Hollywood, thanks for hanging with us. Stolen Vinyl, Maestro Bobby Moog. All right, we are going to sign off. You guys, thanks for spending an hour with us.
Yeah, it's been good, guys.
And
Good
we
times.
will chat with you later.